All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of the Ryan Weiss Show. I am your host, Ryan Weiss, and I'm excited to introduce to you my new show. So I'm here driving in my car. I just recently bought a Tesla. It's in full self-drive mode, so I can divert my attention a little bit from focusing on the road because the car is taking care of the driving, and I am excited to tell you about this new show that I'm going to be starting. So, I'm calling it the Ryan Weiss Show, and I have a few different motivations for starting my own show, and a few different objectives with this show that I'm starting. So I'll share those with you, and tell you what kind of value I think if you watch, what kind of value you'll get if you watch these shows. I just want to start by saying this is the first episode that I'm recording, and I'm already thinking about some things that I want to improve. So first of all, sorry about the background noise with the road. That might actually make this video like unwatchable, which so be it. I just figured I needed to just get started, and I can optimize and improve later. But I just need to start the project to maintain the motivation to continue. Sometimes you can sort of try to tinker with something until you absolutely have it perfect to get started, but I think it's better to just get started, even if it's not as good as you want it initially. I mean, nothing will be as good as you want it to be initially. So maybe I could start with my motivations for starting a show, and then that'll sort of naturally lead into my objectives with starting this show. So my motivations for starting the Ryan Weiss Show. About 9 years ago, I started a YouTube channel called 6 Figures in 6 Years. And the reason that I started that show is because I made the decision to drop out of college. I was 19 at the time, and dropping out of college was a very nerve-wracking, scary, sort of unsupported decision from my family. And so I started that YouTube channel to sort of document some of the things that I was doing to make my life successful despite having dropped out of college. And, I really wanted to show people that you could have a great career and have a high income without a college degree, and that a college degree is not necessarily, it's not necessarily the guarantee that people think it is, and it's also not necessarily the requirement that people think it is. Now, that was my thinking back then. I'm 10 years out of college now, and my opinions have, on college have changed. I would say I'm probably less harsh now. I understand the purpose of it a bit more. I don't regret my decision to drop out of college, but I appreciate it more for what it is now, I would say, having lived some life. Which isn't that what people do? You think, what's up with these stupid rules and institutions, and then you get a little bit more life experience, and you start to think, well, that makes sense. There's like this concept. It's something fence. It's like, I don't know, Joseph's fence. It's like, if you want to take down a fence, you first have to explain why that fence was installed in the first place. And if you can explain why that fence was installed in the first place, then you can take that fence down. So I was maybe trying to take the fence of college down without, having a thorough understanding of why the fence of college was put up to begin with. But anyways, I started that channel, and I started recording videos. I recorded maybe 30 or 40 videos. I was sort of doing a weekly update, and I found myself not really enjoying providing the weekly updates. I liked recording the videos. I just felt like week to week, I didn't have a lot, to provide as an update. I got a job working as a roof and gutter salesman. I was selling roofs and gutters. That was commission only, and I liked that job, and that job taught me how to sell. Then I got a job at Bank of America as a relationship manager, opening people's personal and small business bank accounts, and I leveraged my sales experience to land that job. But ultimately, week by week, the progress was not impressive. It was like, okay, great. This week I made $800 and I saved $100, so I'm, $100 closer to my goal of being wealthy. It's like, okay, who cares? It's boring. And so, I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but the goal with my original YouTube channel, right? 6 figures in 6 years. I'm 19 now. By the time I'm 25, if I'm not making a 6-figure income within 6 years, I'll admit defeat. I'll go back to college and I'll get a college degree. Well, that's easy to say. I'll go back to college when you're 19. Now I'm 28 and I have a wife and 2 kids and a lot of responsibilities and obligations. It would be very difficult to imagine going back to college now. But nonetheless, I recorded videos there for the first year. The progress is too boring. I felt like an imposter. I really didn't feel like I was bringing much value to people because I didn't really know that much stuff. And so I sunsetted the YouTube channel. I stopped recording videos. But I didn't lose the commitment to myself. I still wanted to see if I could make 6 figures in 6 years. And so, long story short is I achieved my goal. I was able to begin earning a 6-figure income by the time I was 25 without a college degree. And not only that, I blasted past my goals, like way past my wildest imaginations. Now at the age of 28, I have a top 1% net worth for my age group. I have a top 1% annual income for my age group. I have experience. I started and I currently run a multi-million-dollar property management business. That's sort of my financial success. Aside from that, I've had a lot of personal life satisfaction and happiness success. I met a wonderful woman, the woman of my dreams, and I got married to her, and we have 2 beautiful kids. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, 2 sons, and having kids and a wife have given me more fulfillment than I anticipated. They fill my life with so much joy and happiness, way more than my net worth or income does. And so at this point in my life, having lived 10 years out of high school, I feel like I'm at the point where I do have valuable things to teach, and I feel like I have learned enough to have some perspective. I don't feel the way I was when I started my first YouTube channel, 6 figures in 6 years. Now I actually feel like I have some authority and some credibility. When I talk about life lessons that I've learned and life lessons that I've applied and personal development that I've done, I'm speaking from a place of credibility because I've achieved the results in my life that I have wanted to achieve. I've been able to set goals and consistently hit them. And I think that, the information that I have and the way that I can present it is valuable and could really resonate with some people. And I've had a lot of people in my life that have presented information to me, whether it's through YouTube videos or podcasts or books that they wrote. And the information that they presented to me, I've applied and I've used to change my life. So I'd like to participate in sort of the chain of knowledge, the chain of knowledge passing on. People have given this information to me, and I would like to now take this information and give it to other people. And so that's one of my motivations. Another motivation, I have some selfish motivations too, if you can call them that. Some people think selfish is a negative label. I have learned that I don't think it's that negative to say that I'm self-interested. I think that one of the best ways to learn something thoroughly is to try to teach it to other people. So I'm going to press myself to teach people in a way that is effective and engaging and interesting. And so by creating videos and presenting on different topics, I hope to better learn these things myself. I hope that being required to teach these topics will require me to actually condense and write down my ideas, because sometimes my ideas are sort of bouncing around in my head like ping pong balls, and then if I have to write them down and create a video about them, that will force me to get clear about what I'm trying to communicate. And then a final motivation and objective of this channel. So the first 52 videos or 51 videos, whatever, that I'm going to make I'm going to call Lessons for My Kids. And I've had some thoughts recently that have been a bit scary to me. And a thought that is very scary to me is this thought that I am mortal but I now have 2 kids that I absolutely adore and love significantly, and I feel like I have a lot I want to teach them. I feel like I am uniquely interested in learning, and as a result of that, I have collected a lot of positive information that can help them to achieve whatever they want to achieve in life, whether they want to, have a great career, have a great family, find spiritual peace. These are all things that I have worked on figuring out for myself, that I can tell them about and help them along their journey. Maybe save them some time, save them some heartbreak, save them some money invested, and make it so that they can live a better life than me, and set them up in a way that's better than how I've been set up. And so my first 50 videos will be lessons for my kids. The reason that I'm doing that is because it'll help me to get good at recording videos. And I don't really care if people watch those videos or not. I'm recording them for my kids. I hope my kids watch them, and I hope I make them interesting and engaging enough that they watch them. I also will feel happy having produced these. If I have to face my deathbed sooner than I want to, or if there's some kind of accident, or I get sick or whatever, have a heart attack, I will die more peacefully, knowing that I've put together the information that I want to convey to my children. And despite me being dead, this resource is still available for them. I think that'll give me a lot of peace. Sometimes I try to visualize my death, right? And imagine, oh man, what am I just devastated I didn't get done? Or what am I devastated I didn't say? Or what am I devastated I didn't do? And then try to do those things as quickly as you possibly can, because, life is not a guarantee. It's a privilege. So I'll be recording lessons for my kids. I feel like I have a lot to teach people. I feel like I have a lot to teach my kids. And, I'm getting to the point where I'd like to start a secondary business, like some kind of content producing, or writing, or some kind of business aside from my primary business, which is property management and sort of real estate investing. And I think that this could be an avenue to do that. And I'm also interested in just engaging with people on their ideas. So, I'm open to expanding this YouTube channel into other things. I'm naming it the Ryan Weiss Show to sort of purposefully stay broad. And I could see doing a call-in show. I could see doing debates. I could see doing a whole bunch of information. But I want to start engaging with the public, and I still want to enjoy my private life, but I want to talk to people publicly about the things that really matter to me. Jim Rohn, who is an excellent teacher of mine, and I encourage you to look up Jim Rohn. He said, talk about things that matter with people that care. And so that's what I want to do. I want to talk about things that matter with people that care. And I think that that's the best way to use my precious time in this world. And, I hope if you're watching this, you're someone who cares. And I hope I can talk to you about things that matter. And I hope that, my perspective and the way I present the information can be compelling, can be useful. I have been given the tools to design a wonderful life, to design the life that I want to live. And I don't have it all figured out. I am a perpetual student. I'm only 28. Some of you who are older than me are going to say you're still an idiot, and I probably still am an idiot. But I'm an idiot that cares, and I'm an idiot that I think has some good ideas, and I want to share those ideas. And some will be useful, some won't. That's okay. Keep the ones that are useful. Discard the ones that aren't. Use the information that I'm sharing with you as a starting point of your own investigation. Be a student of your own life. And I really appreciate you watching this video. I'm looking forward to recording these videos for my kids. I hope that they find them helpful. I guess I kind of hope that they never have to use them, right? Because I want to be alive to teach them these lessons, but I think I'll get a lot of use from recording these videos. And I think if something were to happen to me, I will be extremely grateful that this information is available to my kids, and I'm really excited to get engaged and start communicating with people and see where the Ryan Weiss Show goes. I'd love to develop a following, and then maybe also have a podcast and a blog and things like that. But those are all things that can sort of come over time. In the meantime, I'm just going to start producing videos and publishing them, and sort of incrementally improve. And so, some of the first improvements I'll make are getting a microphone. I think this video works pretty well, recording in the car. And now that my car drives itself, I feel okay focusing on recording a video. And I think I'll stop this video here. That's an introduction to the Ryan Weiss Show, talking through some of my motivations, some of my objectives. I'm looking forward to this year recording lessons for my kids, and then exploring different ways that the show can go in the future. I'm excited to engage, and I'm looking forward to. I would chalk this as a win if I can produce. I hate the word content, but if I can facilitate the transfer of information that people tell me is valuable. If people get value from this and say, I applied the information from this video and I got this positive result in my life. Thank you for letting me know. Or I listened to your videos and they gave me hope, or they inspired me to take action. Any of those outcomes, I would consider that a huge success. So, and even if I could just get one person to improve their life, that would mean a lot to me. So, thank you very much for watching this first introductory video. I imagine the audio quality was poor. If you made it to the end, you're an OG, because you're watching the first video, and I'm sure you didn't discover this channel in the first video. We're probably many years in the future, and here you are watching the first video. It'll be interesting to see where it goes, and thank you very much for taking the time, your precious time, to watch this video. I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.